Most shooters are already full of crap before the first round fires. I was too. I judged handguns by the logo, the price tag, the movie scene, the war story, the comment section, all that noise. Then a range day embarrassed me. A so-called legend felt flat in my hands. And a pistol I wanted to dismiss made me keep staring at the target like I missed something. That is the problem with handguns. You do not really know what you respect until the gun starts pushing back. This is not a buying guide. It is not carry these 7. It is try once because some pistols teach your hands. What your opinions keep screwing up. Some legends disappoint. Some ugly guns humble you. Some heavy guns slow everything down and somehow make you better. And one boring gun near the end may make people mad because it explains where handguns actually went. 2 Saturdays ago, a retired NCO dropped his personal Beretta 92 FS on the bench, like it still belonged to Uncle Sam. Private Bay out west, near one of those army towns where every truck looked cooked by sun, dust everywhere. The gun wasn't new, wasn't flashy, and damn sure wasn't cleaned up for a camera. He racked it once, handed it over, and said, "Run it like it's still issue." That shut my mouth. I expected the 92 FS to feel like a movie prop with extra weight. Big grip, long reach, old controls, the kind of pistol people respect because they were told to. First thing I noticed was the weight. Then that long double action pull dragged through my finger like the gun was asking if I had any business holding it. Then the gun changed personality. That heavy old brick stopped fighting me and started making every rushed shot feel calmer than it should have. The slide moved soft. Recoil rolled instead of snapped. Brass kicked clean. For a few magazines, I stopped thinking about specs, price, or internet noise. Then the NCO took it back, fired a few rounds, and said one quiet thing about sand, heat, and trusting issued gear when it mattered. That stuck with me. Still big, though. Carrying one feels like stuffing a toolbox under your shirt. But every shooter should feel a real old service pistol once. The 92 FS stopped being that movie gun for me. Quit racing the gun. Let it settle. That came from behind me after I'd already made a mess of the stage. Local match, cheap timer screaming, steel half-painted from everybody else speeding it up. And there I was, trying to make a light modern pistol do everything faster than my hands could think. The CZ75 SP01 was sitting on the table, heavy as guilt. And I did not want it. Not right then. I wanted speed. I wanted something snappy, light, modern, easy to throw around. Then I ran the CZ, and it pissed me off almost immediately because it did not feel fast. It felt like the pistol was telling me to stop acting fast. The weight stayed low. The front end quit wandering. My grip stopped fighting the gun. Steel started ringing cleaner. And the worst part was, the timer did not embarrass it the way I wanted. It embarrassed me. The SP01 did not make me some better shooter. It just removed enough noise for me to see how sloppy I was. That heavy steel frame made my polymer excuses sound thin. No, I do not carry it every day. It is heavy, bulky, old school, and the first pull takes adjustment. But every shooter should try one pistol that slows their ego down before speeding their hands up. The one after it did not feel smooth. It felt like it already survived a bad decision. The gun I liked less made me trust it more. That sounds stupid, but the P226 did that to me. I had a newer pistol on the bench that day. Light frame, optic-ready slide, clean trigger, all the modern candy. I shot it first, and it made everything easy. Hits came fast. Grip felt friendly. Nothing argued with me. Then the SIG Sauer P226 came into my hand, and the mood got uglier. Not heavier like the CZ lesson, not old service romantic like the Beretta. This thing felt blunt, serious. Like it had sat in bad weather, bad lighting, and bad decisions, and came out with no interest in being loved. The strange part was the target. With the newer pistol, good hits felt assisted. With the P226, good hits felt earned. And the misses, those felt personal. That got under my skin. The P226 did not make shooting feel easier. It made comfort feel suspicious. It made some newer guns feel like they were trying too hard to be pleasant. The flaw is right there. It is not small, not trendy, not soft around the edges. And it feels like it came from another rulebook. But every shooter should try one pistol that does not flatter them. After the P226, some newer guns stopped feeling like duty guns. They started feeling like products. The next one did not care about products. It brought pressure with teeth. The cylinder click got my attention before the blast ever did. Smith & Wesson Model 686. Old indoor range. Bad lights. Burnt powder hanging in the air. The kind of place where every lane sounds the same until a revolver shows up and suddenly the room has a different pulse. I expected some dusty cowboy routine. Wrong. The 686 did not feel nostalgic. It felt mechanical in a way modern pistols almost never do. You could see the chambers, see the metal move, see the whole thing working right in front of you. Nothing hidden under a slide, nothing pretending to be sleek. When that first cylinder was done, the weird part was not the power. It was the empty space after it. The gun opened up, brass came out, and suddenly 6 shots felt like an event instead of just part of a range session. That is the reason it fits this title. Most shooters spend their whole life behind semi-autos. Try a 686 once, and you understand why revolvers never fully died. No, it is not practical for everybody. It is heavy, slow to reload, and a modern pistol makes more sense for most normal work. But the Model 686 gives you a handgun experience. Nothing polymer copies. It does not feel old. It feels like a machine that still knows something we got too comfortable forgetting. The USP did not ask permission to be ugly. Late July near Dallas, heat lifting off the bench, sweat making every grip suspect. My friend brought his HK USP9 like it was nothing. Thick grip, rough texture, square HK slide with all the charm of a concrete block. I wanted to clown it. Hard to do when the gun looks like it was designed by people who got angry at failure and never cooled off. Nothing felt slick. The controls made me think. The grip felt wrong before it started making sense. Even picking it up felt deliberate, almost ceremonial, like the pistol did not care how fast I wanted to look. The recoil was strange, too. Not soft, not smooth, sharp, controlled, mechanical. The slide snapped like it already knew where it was going next. After a couple mags, the ugly parts started working together, and that irritated me. The USP felt excessive until too much became the point. No, it is not friendly. Blocky grip, dated controls, oversized feel. Some shooters hate it fast. Most polymer pistols try to disappear. The USP refuses. Try it once and you feel abuse first design with zero apology. The USP still did not care whether I liked it. The next gun made the room uncomfortable for a different reason. Not legendary. Cheap. Nobody fired a shot, and the room picked a side. CCW class table. Pistols laid out while people signed forms. Glocks, SIGs, 1HK sitting there like a charged rent. Then a guy set down a Taurus G2C, and the air got weird. Nobody said the ugly thing out loud. They did not have to. The G2C looked used. Holster rub, basic sights, beat up spare mag, tired finish. Cheap gun, carried hard, owned by a guy who looked completely unbothered. That bothered me more than the pistol. He was not defending it or bragging. He talked about work, rent, kids, and carrying what he could afford and knew. Half the room had nicer guns and worse excuses. The Taurus did not humble me by beating legends. It humbled me because the guy carrying it had a more honest relationship with his pistol than the guys protecting their price tags. No, I do not trust every Taurus like I trust the heavy names. Trigger, finish, QC, long-term confidence, real questions. I still do not put the G2C above the legends. But as an experience, try one once. Find out how much came from the pistol and how much came from the price tag. The last one makes people mad another way. Not cheap, boring. The 43X MOS is almost annoying because it does not feel important at first. I borrowed one yesterday, same range, different lane, with a small red dot already mounted. No heavy steel, no movie history, no old service pistol authority, just a slim Glock with a full feeling grip and a shape everybody acts tired of discussing. Then I started shooting it. The dot just sat there. The gun tracked under it without drama. It did not feel special in the romantic way. It felt worse than that. It felt obvious, like this is where handguns were heading. Once people stopped trying to impress each other at the counter and started caring about what disappears into daily life. That is why every shooter should try one once. Not because it is legendary. It is not. It belongs here because it explains the modern carry world in one magazine. Slim enough to forget, capable enough to trust, plain enough that people underestimate it until they realize half the industry is chasing the same idea. The flaw, it is boring. Painfully boring. But after trying it, you start wondering how many exciting handguns only feel exciting because they are worse in real life. That bad carry choice from the intro still bugs me, because nothing about it looked wrong until I lived with it. That is the part buyers miss. The wrong pistol feels perfect for 5 minutes at the counter, then starts stealing comfort, speed, confidence, and patience. One annoying day at a time. None of these 7 gets a free pass. The winner has problems. The famous names have problems. The cheap-looking answers have problems. Everyday carry is not about worshiping a logo. It is about the pistol you keep on your belt when the weather sucks, your shirt fights you, and your mood is already shot. Drop your carry gun below. Tell me the one you regret, too. I'm Steve. The next mistake is probably already riding in somebody's holster.